Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and Fabrice Raconte here as usual. Today's video we're going to talk about one of the camera basics you need to know to create motion blur or freeze completely the action that's going on in front of your camera. And you guessed it right, we're going to talk about shutter speed. Now, throw the intro. Today's video we're going to talk about shutter speed. And first, before starting this video, I want to apologize to my subscriber and my viewers about being absent for a couple of weeks. It's been 2 weeks I didn't upload any tutorial or video on my platform. This because I had a couple of other projects going on. I had a wedding to shoot, I had other events to cover up, and together with my private life, there was just a lot going on, so I couldn't keep up. That said, I'm back here today, and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about shutter speed. And what is shutter speed? According to Mr. Google, let's go there really quick. Mr. Google says shutter speed is, where was that? In photography, I'm reading. This is not my opinion, this is just Google words. Shutter speed is the nominal time for which a shutter is open at a given setting. That's just too complicated. If you're a beginner photographer, you're just gonna be like, I need more. So let's roll to the second definition. Shutter speed is the exposure time. In other words, it's the time when the film or the digital sensor inside the camera is exposed to light. Yeah, basically that's it. So I'm going to put Mr. Google on the side, and I'm going to tell you what I think shutter speed is. Not really different from what we just read. Shutter speed is the length of time which a camera sensor or a camera film is being exposed to light. In the case of this camera, I don't know, I can show you guys. I will show you on this DSLR in a very short clip. But shutter speed is the amount of time when you click, light goes through the lens and hit the sensor inside the camera to create the image. This is expressed in seconds or fractions of seconds. Usually, it's very common nowadays to see a shutter speed from bulb mode or 30-second exposure right up to 4 thousandths of a second or 8 thousandths of a second, which means this is how you're going to change your shutter speed in camera. Well, in my case, I'm using a Nikon camera, Nikon D7200. So if you switch the dial behind here, you see you can change the shutter speed. Let's see, it goes right up to 8 thousandths of a second. That's the maximum. And it goes the lowest shutter speed, bulb, or usually 30 seconds exposure is the lowest. So this camera goes up to 8 thousandths of a second. Others camera can start at 4,000. In case of older cameras, maybe 2,000 of a second, 1,000 for the film cameras in the old days. That's it. That's how you change of a second. Which means, imagine guys, in 1 second, it's already fast enough for my eye. Anything happening in second, I really can't catch it. That's why we used to say photography stop the time, because we can stop something that's happening in fractions of a second with these fast shutter speed cameras, 8 thousandths of a second. Divide 1 second by 8,000 and tell me how fast that is. A camera is able to take that. Whatever is going to happen in that fraction of time, camera will get it. Now, the shutter speed is used in very different situations in different ways. I shoot most of the time, I shoot portraits and motorsports. I do a lot of products, and I'm not really into landscape photography, but all these different situations and scenarios require different shutter speed settings and shutter speed numbers. Okay, for portraits, usually I will stay around 125th of a second, because you want to avoid as much as possible camera shake, because when you are around 100th of a second, everything that happen, you can really take it very fast and without camera shaking. When you are slow to 60th of a second, 40th, 32, it's really difficult to hold the camera and take the photo at the same time, because the image is not going to be so sharp. This introduction of what we call camera shake. Camera shake is, you know, you are breathing, you are standing, your hand may be shake in fraction of a second, so you are unable to take the shot. That's why when you go down on the shutter speed, you need a steady support for the camera. You can use a tripod, you can use a mini pod, a monopod, or a table, or your shoulder, like this. It really depends on which techniques you're using for and what situation you find yourself into. But when I'm out there for motorsports, it's this completely fast action happening. The cars are fast, the bikes are fast. Anything can happen in a fraction of a second. He missed the turn and he's on the wall, crash. So you use faster shutter speeds to freeze action. Or we can use slower shutter speeds in the motorsport world, to create motion blur. This is a creative technique. It's not camera shake. It's completely different. And even today, to avoid camera shake, the lenses are so sophisticated and so intelligent and so well built. The technology is really advanced, and most of the lenses for professional use have vibration control systems, they have a vibration reduction system, they have image stabilization systems, all this to avoid camera shake at slower shutter speeds. So shutter speed really depends on what you're going to create, what do you intend to show in your image. And the shutter speed, when the slower shutter speeds, it allows more light to come in the sensor, which means you are going towards an overexposed image, except you play around with aperture and ISO and exposure compensation values. But this is a completely different topic for another video. To recap, shutter speed goes from 30 seconds exposure or bulb mode for more than 30 seconds up to 1/8000th of a second, which is a fraction of a second. The faster your shutter speed, the more frozen the subject in your image look, and probably the more sharper. And the slower shutter speed gives you more light coming into your sensor, means you are going towards overexposed images, but you have motion blur if that is what you're going to create. And you have, in terms of panning shots, you have a beautiful blur, and your subject stay really freeze and in focus and sharp. That's it. If you like this video, just press the like button, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you didn't subscribe yet. More content to come on a weekly basis, every Friday or Saturday usually. Depends on what time zone you find yourself in the world. I am Fabrice Chakunte, motorsport and portrait photographer based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. Thanks for watching and enjoy your day. Have a nice week. Throw up the outro.